Hello everyone, hope everyone's Wednesday is off to a great start. Today we're going to be going over what we're going to be doing on September 23rd. We're going to be clicking here where it says the climate of the USA. We are in week 5 and we're going to be taking a look at the different climates that we have in our country. So although the USA is one country, it has many different climates. And let's take a look at this. And you might be saying, well, why is this important for me to know? Well, if you ever decide to go on a trip or go on a vacation with your family, you're going to need to know what the climate is like. You're going to need to know, and when we're talking about climate, what we're talking about is it's the type of weather or precipitation that a place gets over a period of time, right? And depending on where you live, it could be different. All right. One thing that we need to know is that if we look at a globe, right, we look here at these latitude and longitude lines. Remember that the line, the equator line? Well, the equator is 0 degrees, right? And it runs around the middle of the Earth. At the equator, that's actually where it's the hottest at on the Earth because that's where the sun shines most directly. And that's because of how the Earth is tilted. So if you notice here, the farther and farther south you get, the warmer it's going to be. That's why like people will go on vacation from Kentucky here to Florida because even though it's not that far south from us, it is warmer there in the winter. So also it's important for us to know climate. Like I said, if we were going to Florida, what are we going to pack, right? If we're going to Alaska, am I going to pack sandals and flip-flops and shorts and t-shirt? No, right? Because Alaska's very, very far north, and we know that the climate there is very, very cold, right? So we're definitely not going to be packing that. We're going to be wanting to pack, maybe some bibs, some gloves, some thick jackets, right? So it's important for us to know the climate. And as well, we're going to be talking about Native Americans next week, and we need to know where they lived at because it kind of depends on what they used to wear. That also depicts kind of like what they eat and different, and kind of really their lifestyle. If you think about it, where we live at really affects our lifestyle daily. So let's look at some of them. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is where Kentucky is, right? And we look at our key here. It actually says that most of Kentucky is in the humid subtropical, which means that there's a hot, rainy summer and a mild, rainy winter. Now, if you notice here, that part of Kentucky is this orange color here, right? And that part of Kentucky is actually Pike County. Pike County is right here on the eastern side of Kentucky, and it's actually orange. So orange is continental, which means it's a hot summer and cold winter. And I agree that we here in eastern Kentucky have that. We have a hot summer and a cold winter. I mean, our summers get pretty hot, and our winters get pretty cold. And here lately, we've been having a lot of snows too. Getting out of school a lot for snow, right? Let's let's transfer over here out to the west here, like where Phoenix, Arizona is, and Las Vegas. As you guys can see, that's red, which means desert. And it says dry, either hot or cold. And it's kind of crazy to think about, but deserts, right? We think of deserts as really dry, right, and really hot. But sometimes deserts, especially at night, get very, very, very cold. All right. Now, another thing that you might not know is that you can also call a place that's very cold a desert. What depends on a desert is if it's just dry or not. So there can be, for example, there are in very cold places deserts, but this just all depends on the water. Okay. Um, let's see. Let's look here at the purple, right? Here in this area, it says highland. Climate varies with elevation. The Rocky Mountains run through here. And so some places, like in Salt Lake City, it's going to be very, very cold. And that's because of the Rocky Mountains that are there. But in other places where the Rocky Mountains aren't there, and it's at lower elevation, then it's not going to be so cold. It all depends on how high um, up elevation you are. Depends on the weather and the temperature. Okay. Now let's look at Alaska here. Alaska has two. It has a polar, which is the pink, or the purple, I guess you could say the purple. And it's cold all year. So all year, it's very, very cold, right? And that's the most northern part of Alaska. Now, in the more the southern part of Alaska, you have what is known as subpolar, which means that you have a short, cool summer and a long, cold winter. So very, very like the most in Alaska during the summer. I think sometimes it does get up to 50 degrees. Um, so most of the time it's always cold. In the summer it's going to be 50 now. In the winter though, however, it's going to be very, very cold. A lot colder than it would be here in Kentucky during our worst parts of the winter. All right, so those are the different climates that we have. There's some others that we could have talked about as well, like semi-arid, which is a lot of the western part it has, which is a short rainy season. Um, but you guys can look at that. And if you look at Miami too, it's actually the dark green, which means it's a tropical, wet and dry. So they have hot and rainy dry seasons. And I've been to Miami before, and I can tell you that it is very, very hot. So once you've looked at that, there's actually going to be a quiz that I'm going to get you guys to take. And that quiz link will be right here. I haven't put it there yet. So let me go over and pull that up for you real quick. So it's going to be this quiz, but like I said, the link will be over there. And let's take a look at this quiz. So only 5 questions a day, and they're all worth 5 points. So what you do is you look at this map and you answer the question. So which 2 climate regions does Alaska have? All right, so we got to go look up here at Alaska, and we can look and see that Alaska does have 2 climate regions, but what are they? We talked about it. Those are the polar, because the purple, right, and the subpolar, right? All right. So you're just going to go through and answer these questions, and that's all you got to do for me today, okay? If you have any questions, as always, guys, make sure to let me know through Canvas and message me, and I'll do whatever I can to help y'all. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day.